Hello and welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm Darkbloom and today we're going to be going over some beginner tips for the game Deadlock. Deadlock is Valve's upcoming MOBA hero shooter and it has just exploded in popularity. Unlike a certain game named Concord. As for myself, I'm simply loving Deadlock. I've been deep into it. I play almost every night when the servers are open, and it's just a really fantastic game, even for playtests. So let's dive into what I think every player should know starting off with Deadlock. If you're unfamiliar with Deadlock, it is a 6v6 multiplayer hero shooter MOBA. I know a lot of words, right? But that's kind of the best way to describe it, to be honest. It is what it is. But yes, it is a 6v6 MOBA with some hero shooter elements. Basically, the goal of the game is to push back into the enemy's base and destroy their Patreon. You also have to defend your base from the enemy players pushing into you. There is towers, there's minions, there's all the bells and whistles of a MOBA that you would see in like League of Legends and Dota, Smite, etc. It's all here in Deadlock. Deadlock puts a refreshing twist on this, which you can check out my other video to dive into what the game is kind of like and what I think about the game and what makes it different. And that will be in the description. But we're going to talk about every tips beginners should know, starting off with the tutorial. If you never played a MOBA before, play the tutorial. Please just play the tutorial to Deadlock. If you played a MOBA, you can get away with not playing the tutorial, but I still recommend you at least do it because you get a feel for the game's overall movement mechanics, how it plays compared to other MOBAs, and what's different with the laning phases and stuff like that. Because yes, it is different in Deadlock. The tutorial has so much information for a new player that it will actually help you. Some players, like myself, because I didn't play it, will ignore it because we kind of got a general feel for the game, or at least we want to learn by playing the game itself, which is totally fine. But if you actually never played a MOBA before and you don't really understand the full concept of the game and what the gameplay is like and the game flow, just try the tutorial. It will teach you so much that you should know about going into this game. Next up is try all the characters, whether it be in a bot match, a public game, or even the sandbox mode. Or, you could just load up a game and just do this because, fuck it, why not? Just try all the characters so that way you're familiar with their abilities and what they do. That way when you fight them in the game on the enemy team, you at least know what they're capable of, what their abilities do, and maybe, just maybe, you might know even how to counter them. So this is why I say try all the characters, give them a try, or at least most of them. I know it might not be the most time efficient thing to do, but even if you're playing just a bot match or something, just do it. Trust me on this one. Learning the characters, even if you never actually play that character, will help you when you're a matchup against that character. It's the same with every MOBA, except I'm not going to go tell someone to play every fucking champion in League of Legends because holy shit. Alright, now let's get into some gameplay elements and what I think every player should know coming into Deadlock. Let's get started with farming. Farming in Deadlock works like any other MOBA, but if you never played a MOBA, the concept might seem kind of weird to you. So each lane has a wave of minions coming down, and Deadlock, the wave of minions respawn a lot faster than most other MOBAs, so it's kind of nice. But that minion wave is your XP and souls, and you're going to want to last hit as many minions as possible. When the minions are ready for a last hit, you'll notice their health bars start glowing white. That's when you can go in and last hitting. Last hitting is a fundamental of MOBAs. It is a requirement to learn how last hitting works to actually fully be able to get into the game and start to be able to do good. Last hitting is very important. It can make and break a laning phase, and it can make and break the rest of the game. But minions down the wave isn't the only way to get XP. You'll notice there's jungle camps along the map, little camps with these monsters in them that you can kill for some extra souls and XP. Doing this when you have time or running in between lanes with nothing seriously going on will lead you to have such a huge soul lead against your opponents that you'll be able to buy late game items a lot quicker, therefore mowing down most of the opponents. So it is important to kind of pace yourself with farming, try to hit as many jungle camps as possible when you're roaming, and don't forget to last hit these minions. Last hitting is such a fundamental skill in every MOBA, and that doesn't change with Deadlock. So last hitting, get on it, learn how to do it, and I promise you'll start becoming a better player in every MOBA, not just Deadlock. And don't be afraid to take advantage of the jungle camps the developers place around the map because it is a huge help, especially when it comes to mid to late game. You're not going to want to do it a lot early game, but yeah. Alright, it's time to talk about soul orbs because they're pretty fucking important. You'll notice these orbs float above the minions after you kill them or your enemy kills your minion. Green orbs are your teams and orange orb is the enemies. If you shoot your green orb, you secure extra souls to help you rush items. If your enemy shoots your green orb, they steal those souls and prevent you from securing it. If you shoot an enemy's orange orb, you steal those souls from the enemy. It's pretty simple. After the 10-minute mark, it goes from only half of the souls to 100% of the souls. Learning this mechanic is very important because if you go against someone that knows how to shoot orbs, secure, and deny, you're going to have a very hard time in the laning phase, and that enemy is going to be very fed in the late game. So, learning how to shoot your orbs, learning how to time it right, can make and break your games on Deadlock, and is something that I highly suggest you work on as a player and learn the fundamentals of, because if you don't and you go against someone that does, they're going to wipe the floor with you. It's just how it is. It's a mechanic in Deadlock that you simply cannot ignore. Now let's talk shop and builds. Deadlock is pretty fucking cool when it comes to builds because it allows you to upload your build to the public database. That way any player could go to the shop, click the browse on the top, and search your build. The thing is with the trying out builds on the top is I don't really recommend it for the long term. Yes, if you're kind of trying to learn the character, use that top build maybe. But what I recommend doing with builds is going in a sandbox or playing a couple games with the hero you're actually trying to learn or get better with, and learn like what items go better with that hero's abilities and overall feel of the hero. Like some heroes are built for tanks, some are built for weapons, some are built for their spirit power. Learn that in the sandbox and build items that will complement a build for you, because you'll learn a lot more about the game that way and your character and the items rather than just going into the shop menu, clicking browse, clicking the top build, and calling it a day and just clicking whatever items. It pays to learn about the items, it pays to try everything yourself, and it pays to learn why these builds are the top builds in the first place. Because a lot of these builds covered a lot of situations, but if you don't know what any of these items do, you're not going to know what items to build for what situations and what enemies you're fighting against. So you're just going to be clicking on stuff, hoping for the best for a lot of these top builds. And that's just something I can't recommend to a new player. I recommend just going into the sandbox or playing a whole bunch of games and learning what works best for your hero and you. Not just relying on the top build for your entire Deadlock career. So, play around with the builds, do what you would like to do with the build, and don't just go off the top build. If anything, take the top build and form it into your own ranking, or at least go in the sandbox and learn kind of why that's the top build, rather than just throwing it onto your character every game and not really understanding why and just rolling with it, hoping for the best. These are just some of the beginner tips I have for Deadlock. I'm probably going to make a part 2 of this video. But for now, these are fundamentals that I think every player should know heading into Deadlock for their first game. And I wish you the best in Deadlock. Have fun. Go ahead and leave a like on the video. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Help me reach that 1,000 subscribers. And I'll see you guys in the next video.